Cloud forensics. Cloud computing. Cloud computing is a service that users are able to interact with over a computer network. It allows users to access software, media, and digital infrastructure without having to install services on a local device or server. This allows for the virtualization of software, services, platforms, and infrastructure over the Internet. This allows users to access their files and services from anywhere in the world, as long as they are able to securely connect to the Internet. Although cloud computing is a more efficient and low-cost method of hosting services, it also comes with some potential security issues. For example, the services that the user accesses over the Internet are transmitted through various networks, applications, and layers of the OSI model. This transmission of data presents an opportunity for hackers to access this sensitive information. From the standpoint of digital forensics, cloud computing offers an opportunity to intercept network transmissions or to view historical network traffic to identify key information. This information can include data such as IP addresses, MAC addresses, and much more, which can lead to valuable insights during the analysis and exploitation process. Types of cloud computing. Infrastructure as a service is a type of cloud computing that provides the user with an entire suite of virtualized tools that meet their needs. This includes virtual machines, firewalls, hypervisors, and much more. Infrastructure as a service is essentially outsourcing the entire IT functionality of an organization, which can be a more cost-effective method for some business models. Platform as a service provides the user with a virtual platform such as an operating system, web server, or database. Software as a service is a product that allows users to access and utilize software applications without the need to build, monitor, and manage them. This includes common services such as Google, Shopify, Dropbox, WordPress, and many more. Storage as a service is providing cloud-based storage on local devices for various uses throughout the Internet. Other types of cloud computing include database as a service, information as a service, and security as a service. Cloud forensics. The methods used for cloud forensics will depend on what service model is being used by a client. An investigator is able to access different types of information from various service providers involved with the client. This means that there must be a very clear understanding of what type of information the examiner needs to conduct their investigation. A forensic investigator may not have access to a physical computer or local network device used by an individual. However, they may have access to the service provider for a web application they previously used or the actual application logs themselves. In some cases, an investigator may need to piece together various bits of data from different locations to build a full picture of who or what they are investigating. There are various elements of cloud forensics which are vital to understanding how to acquire important data. Since much of this data is not stored on a local device, this process can be more difficult in some cases, such as when servers are hosted in foreign countries where the same laws do not apply. The main difference between computer forensics and cloud forensics is that you may not have access to the local machine. This means that you must get approval to conduct a forensics investigation of various services by contacting and working with the provider. For example, in order to obtain application logs, database logs, and network logs, you may need to contact a cloud service provider to get approval. If this approval is granted, you still need to filter the target's data from other data stored in the logs, which may prove to be difficult or impossible, depending on how the service is formatted. Now, extrapolate this problem across multiple service providers, states, and countries to get an idea of how complex cloud forensics could potentially become. Advantages of cloud forensics. Cloud forensics is one of the newer subcategories of digital forensics, and it is continually evolving as technology advances in this field. Cloud forensics relates to network forensics in that cloud computing is essentially accessing resources using computer networks. However, cloud forensics goes much further in depth in that each cloud-based resource becomes another physical or virtual asset that can be investigated by a digital forensics team. This creates a much wider range of data that investigators can use to find evidence that will help them either solve crime, analyze an incident, or gather amplifying information. Cloud forensics offers another advantage to investigators by allowing for a scalable and cost-effective approach to this aspect of digital forensics. With cloud computing, investigators have access to networked resources through the internet, which is more efficient and cost-friendly. If third-party service providers are willing to cooperate with investigators, then they could have access to large quantities of data that can help assist in an investigation. This data is also harder for criminals and hackers to delete or cover up since it may not be under their control. For example, the log records of a software application are generally controlled by the service provider, and this information can help investigators pinpoint a suspect or gain amplifying information. Disadvantages of cloud forensics. Unlike an investigation of computer hardware, cloud forensics investigators must gain permission to conduct an investigation of cloud-based resources. Cloud forensics has the potential to involve multiple third-party service providers in an investigation, which can complicate matters. This problem is amplified when these service providers are in different countries that each have different laws for digital privacy. To gain access to data from a service provider, investigators must reach out to the company and get authorized to conduct their investigation. Service providers may not be readily accessible or willing to cooperate with investigators, which will disrupt the investigation. Investigators looking to access private data held in other countries may also run into digital privacy laws that delay their investigation. During this time, evidence could be deleted, and criminals could evade law enforcement. Or in a business setting, the incident response process could be delayed and remain unresolved. This can also disrupt the chain of custody, which can delegitimize the evidence collected in an investigation, making a case less stable than data captured from a personal computer.